Welcome to the Marriage and Motherhood podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Perda. I'm a life and marriage coach for moms, wife, mom of 3, and I'm also an Aries, and for my fellow human design nerds, a sacral manifesting generator. This podcast is for women who want to be happier in their marriage as they navigate their journey through motherhood, even if you're like me and you weren't shown how while growing up. Inside, we're going to be talking about breaking generational cycles when it comes to how to handle conflict in healthy ways, redefining motherhood your way, and prioritizing your well-being, because here, we believe that women don't have to sacrifice their happiness to be a great mom. And a quick note to mamas listening with kids around, you may want to pop your earbuds in because nothing is left unsaid on this show, which means there may be times where something I say isn't meant for little ears. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage and Motherhood podcast. This week, I'm going to be talking all about how staying connected in your marriage takes work. It does. It takes work. And I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways for it to become less difficult. Okay, I'm here to make your life easier for you to enjoy your marriage again. And so I really hope that you enjoy and are able to apply these very, very simple, I love to keep things simple, simple ways for you to connect more with your spouse, because that's needed for your marriage to thrive and to last through all of life's challenges. Okay. So staying connected after you become parents is not a small feat. All right. Like, it is hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I'm sure you know this by now, right? Like, it is hard. It is way harder than pre-kids. Before you had kids, you thought you didn't have time, but you now know you had a lot of time, right? You had less responsibility. You were fully in charge of your own time. You just had the house to take care of and work. And that was about it. And now you've got a whole family to take care of alongside your partner. And it's a lot, right? And I don't know any mom that would disagree with that. If you do, let me know. I want to know what you know that I don't know. But this is just like a universal truth when it comes to marriages. And it's sad because so many marriages, after they have kids, like after they add in kids to the family, the strength, the connection, and the quality of the marriage drops so much that they either become strangers over time or they end up going their separate ways, right? So either way, it's not a good situation. I don't want your home to feel like a big tension ball, okay? I want your home to feel like someplace that you enjoy being, where you feel seen, where you feel heard, where you can laugh and really feel comfortable in your own home, where it's like, I love being here. I'm surrounded by my favorite people and we just have a great time most of the time, right? Because it's, we're still parents, and let's be real, raising kids is hard, okay? Like, it goes in waves where sometimes it's like, yay, everything's great, we're doing a great job. And other times it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And all these things are happening, right? Like, your kids are trying to assert their independence, they're crossing boundaries, whatever it is, it's hard. And our journey through motherhood definitely goes through seasons where it's like, okay, I have the space and bandwidth to make an effort to connect. Or you're like, I literally don't even know. I don't even know where I would find the time. I don't know how I would make it happen. And so it just won't. And so we're going to be talking about the latter today, okay? Because I don't want you to get to this point and stay there, okay? Now, with all of our days and weeks being filled with like house responsibilities, whether it's dishes or laundry or cooking, house projects, or raising kids, your work projects, whatever it is, like, we can get distracted super easy. It's like squirrel brain. Have you seen the movie Up, right? Like when Doug, the dog, sees a squirrel, he's like, squirrel, right? And he loses focus from what he was going after when that happens. And so life is like that. Okay, so today I'm going to be sharing 3 ways to connect in a way that makes it less difficult. All right, so you know the phrase, the squeaky wheel gets the grease? Yeah. Now, if you haven't heard about that, what it means is like the thing that commands the most attention, the loudest thing, right? The squeaky wheel is the thing that's going to get what it needs. And our life is like that, right? Oh no, like a child is screaming, we're going to go there, right? Or a project has a deadline, we're going to shift our focus there. You don't have any clean laundry, you're going to go do that. A friend calls, like needing your help, you're going to do that, right? That's how we work. And that's also how you describe living a life on autopilot, okay? When your attention is pulled versus directed. Whenever you notice that you're just going through the motions of life, that's you noticing that your life is on autopilot. You're not consciously making decisions on getting closer to the future that you see for yourself, the future that you see for your family, for your marriage, for yourself, so on and so forth, okay? When you notice you're in this autopilot way of living, which, by the way, like no judgment, everybody goes through this, myself included, like even the most intentional people encounter this. This is a very normal way of life. In fact, our brains like it when we go on autopilot because it conserves its energy. We have to think less. All we have to do is like get to work, go to work, get home, cook dinner, whatever, like whatever your routine is, right? If you're just living your routine and nothing is changing in a progressive way, you're on autopilot, all right? So when you notice you're on autopilot, that's a signal that it's time to reclaim control over your life again, so that it's not that things are pulling your attention and that's where you direct your attention. It's more like, okay, something's going on over there. Is this actually a priority for me? It's that pause in asking yourself, do I want to direct my attention there? Or is it just getting my attention? Kind of like your phone, right? Are you picking it up to use it for a reason, a very specific reason, or are you picking it up because you're bored, right? So doing life with purpose, okay? And this is going to be something that you encounter and experience hundreds, if not more, times in your life. Okay, because this is just a cycle that we go through as humans, right? We become complacent and then we wake up and we're like, oh, I'm not where I want to be. And then that's your wake-up call, right? So it's not so much about getting off track. It's about what you do when you notice things are off. Do you make an effort to reestablish a connection in your marriage, or do you shrug your shoulders and say, oh, well, look, I understand. Life is busy. There's so much to do. And this is still your life. And ultimately, you decide how you want to live it. You have control over a lot more than you give yourself credit for. Now, I understand mom guilt. I understand people pleasing. I understand wanting to be there for other people and being afraid of what other people might say or think about you if you say no. I understand that. Societal pressure is strong, yeah? But you have control over what you do, when you do it, and how you do it. It's all a choice. And yes, it takes extra planning and energy and time to continue connecting with your spouse, to nurture the connection in your marriage. But you know what? Not making the effort to connect does too. It also takes energy and time, right? So when your marriage is disconnected, it takes energy and time to recover from an argument. In fact, the arguments are probably more intense and takes longer because when you're not feeling connected, your fights are actually worse because you're not feeling like a team. And so you're likely making assumptions that you wouldn't be making. If you were connected, you'd probably be giving your partner more compassion. You'd be giving them more of a benefit of the doubt. You would be more curious versus blaming, accusing, criticizing. It also takes energy and time to wake up in the morning and feel unhappy about life, about your marriage, about how you feel in your home. Seeing other couples that look happier, that takes energy too. That affects how you feel and go about your day. Even if you're trying to shrug it off and pretend it doesn't impact you, deep down, it does. Because it's not what you thought you signed up for. It's not what you were hoping for. So that takes energy. So either way, you're going to be expending time and energy. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, am I spending the time and energy where it belongs? Do you want to be happy? Have your energy there? Or do you want to be sad and lonely? So you get to decide, like, am I going to devote my time and energy to keeping my marriage strong so that I can feel happier? So that I can enjoy life more. Okay? Because our choices that we make, they have consequences. And when we say yes to something, that means we're also saying no to something else. And the reverse is true as well. Whatever you're saying no to means that you're saying yes to something else. So the bigger question is, are you okay with what the outcome is? Whatever you're saying no to and yes to, are they in alignment with the life that you're trying to build for yourself? For example, when you say no to going on a date or planning a date, you're saying yes to letting your marriage connection wait longer to be reestablished. You're saying that this other thing you're choosing to do instead is a priority over having alone time with your spouse, making memories with them, taking time to get to know them again, being husband and wife or partner and partner versus being parents and co-parents and roommates. And yes, of course, there's going to be like those one-offs where it's like, yeah, you should definitely tend to that over the date. The date can wait. But if you're constantly saying the date can wait and it never happens, there's a problem. The more time that passes between the moments that you connect with each other, the longer it's going to take to reestablish that. The more awkward things will get between you two. Let's look far into the future. Let's say you're like knee deep in parenthood. You don't spend time with each other as much as you used to, and there's no effort behind connecting anymore. You don't go on dates. You don't make time during the week to spend with each other. You're just doing life in parallel. The two outcomes are you either end up not a couple anymore, or the kids finally head out of the house, they move out, and then what? Your spouse now feels like a stranger. Your buffers for the relationship are gone, and you don't know how to interact with each other. You don't know how to have fun with each other anymore. You don't know what each other likes, aside from favorite foods and what TV show they like and their habits. But you don't truly know each other. You don't know how to enjoy each other. You don't know how to be friends with each other. I don't want this for you. So Here are 3 ways for connecting with your spouse to be less difficult as parents. So number 1 is work together as a team. No brainer, right? Like, I love to keep things super simple, or what I call stupid simple here. So work together as a team. Sit down and talk about what you each want for the future of your relationship, right? What do you see for your future? What kind of couple do you want to be when you're older? What do you want to do with each other? What kind of life do you want to build? Do you want to be a couple that travels all over the world, sells their house, and, flies everywhere, has Airbnbs everywhere, whatever? Do you want to retire somewhere else, sell your home that you raised your family in, and go retire somewhere like Hawaii? I don't know, right? Like, what do you see for yourself? When you can come up with and work towards a common vision for your relationship and your family, it creates clarity, connection, direction, and accountability. Your spouse wants to be connected with you, right? No one actually wants to be miserable in their marriage. At least I hope not, because that's weird. Why get married then, right? So if they chose to marry you, they saw something with you. They saw a future with you. So clarify what that future is. And that way, the decisions that you make going forward can work towards that. All right. So if you want to still laugh, have inside jokes, still be flirty, have hobbies that you share together, or go on adventures together, that's going to require for you to do some things in the meantime. It's not like you just wait and it happens. It's a future that's built. It's a goal that's met, right? Like, it takes steps to get there. So start with a vision in mind and work your way backwards. What do you need to do today, tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that, all the way up until that future that you see to get there, right? If strangers or a couple that's like not yelling at each other all the time or fighting with each other is not your goal, then what do you need to do today to repair what's going on now and to build towards that future, right? I'm going to bet friendship is involved with that. I'm going to bet connection is a part of that. Quality time, all of that. And so if that's not a part of your routine and way of being married right now, start now, okay? Start now. Number 2 is figure out how often you each want to connect. How often do you want to go on dates? Whether that's at home, right? Like in a episode that I recorded with Amberly, she is from A Prioritized Marriage. We talked about how dates are often confused with going out, right? Going out to like steak restaurant, going out to a movie, going like something extravagant. However, the movies have painted what dates look like. But really, a date could be intentional time together, quality time together, not watching a movie and not talking, right? But maybe watching a show and then talking about it, or playing a board game. Anything that helps you create memories and grow closer together, spending quality time, getting to know each other better, and having fun, enjoying each other's company. And that could be done at home. It could be done in your backyard, on your porch, on the driveway, right? Like anywhere that you can get some time to yourselves, even if it means, this is something that my husband and I do. When we go on walks with the family, right? We'll let our kids walk a little bit ahead of us, in a safe distance, right? And we will stay back, hold hands, and talk. We're intentionally utilizing the time that we have alone together that's not in earshot of our kids to connect. All right. So we're not splitting up. It's not like one parent is with the kids and the other parent is pushing a stroller or whatever it is, right? We're intentionally choosing to make the most out of the current situation. So I actually consider that a date. I consider us going to Costco alone a date because we get to talk about stuff and we get to have fun. We're not really in a hurry. We don't have kids to look out for knocking stuff over or just, I don't know, doing whatever kids do, right? So your dates don't have to be crazy. It gets to be simple, okay? So whether we're talking about at-home dates or going out dates, figure out how often do you two want to do those things, right? How often do you want to have at-home dates? How often do you want to have going out dates? And who will you lean on to support your marriage, right? So if your kids are not old enough to stay at home by themselves, who's going to be in your corner to watch the kids so that you can go do that, so that you can invest time into your marriage? Because your marriage needs your investment. It needs both of your investments, okay? Another thing is, how often do you each want to have sex? This is a very normal, healthy expression of connection and love. And men tend to need this in order to feel safe, to emotionally open up, right? So as women, it's often the opposite, where we need emotional intimacy to open up, to physically be vulnerable, which is through sex. Men tend to be the opposite, okay? So, let's not shy away from this conversation. This is a necessary, essential part of your relationship. This is what differentiates you from being friends to being a married romantic couple. You're not roommates, right? You're not just in the same bed, literally sleeping side by side to save money, right? This is not the situation that's happening. Y'all are married, and this sex piece is a huge part of that. All right. So find out, how often do you want to have sex? How often does he want to have sex, or whoever your partner is? And it's okay if it's different. But it's important to know where you each stand so that you have more information to factor in when deciding how to structure your day and your family routine to support that aspect of your marriage. Which means not overloading yourself, which means maybe certain nights of the week, one partner does bedtime so the other partner can unwind and be mentally and energetically prepared to be physically intimate, right? Because sometimes, when we're in our heads, especially women, we tend to have a lot of stuff going on in our heads because we carry a heavy mental load, right? And it's hard for us to get into it, the enjoyment of it. And so when we're in our heads, it's just very much we're not there. We're physically there, but we're not mentally there. Okay. So whatever it is that needs to happen needs to be talked about. And knowing what your partner's desires are, how often they need that to feel connected with you, or how often they want it to feel connected with you. You can keep that in mind whenever they initiate and you want to say no. Not to say this is your duty, because I firmly believe it is not your duty. You should want to have sex. And if you don't, then figure out why, right? Is it a hormonal thing? Is it a burnout thing? What is it? Okay. Either way, you can then kind of figure out oh, it's been a while. Okay. Let me make it a priority to fulfill his desires so that we can connect. And I can go on and on about this, but either way, just communicate about it. Okay. Because better communication is what leads to better physical intimacy. So talk about what you each like, what you each need in order to enjoy it, and how often. The third one is go out of your way to do kind gestures. So remember back when you're first dating, right? You're like courting each other. You should still be courting each other. Okay, obviously it's going to look different nowadays, right? It's not like, hey, show up with a bouquet of roses every time you see me because you see each other every day. But you should still be courting each other. You should still be trying to, this is a funny word, but like woo your partner, okay? Like, because back then you both went out of your way to make the other person feel special and thought of, right? Breaking them their favorite coffee or making their favorite meal or planning a fun getaway or a date or, like seeing something, you're like, ooh, I'm thinking of them. So I'm going to snap a picture and text it to them, or I'm going to buy it and gift it to them. Like whatever it is, bring that back. Bring that back. Like I said, it doesn't have to be like crazy. It doesn't have to be extravagant. You don't even need to like break the bank. And it could be simple stuff, like I mentioned, right? Just pay attention to what would help them feel special and thought of. So love language, like knowing their love language is going to be really important for this. And just commit to doing a random act of kindness for them, whether that's daily, weekly, something often enough where it makes an impact. Because if you're only doing it like every couple months, it's kind of like, okay, thank you. But also, like, this is something that needs to be recurring, something that's not too hard to do, but has a really big impact on helping them feel like they matter in your life. All right. This breaks up the monotony of family life, of the logistical, responsibility-driven lifestyle that we transition into once we become parents. And you insert this like small moment of kindness and love. And it's just like a moment that you two just share with each other. All right. This is going to bring in more love, connection, and spark inspiration for your partner to do the same. Okay. So those are the 3 ways that you can make connecting less difficult. Okay. Work together as a team, establish that vision so you know where you're going. Right? It's kind of like driving with a map. It's way easier that way when you don't know where you're going. Figure out how often you each want to and need to connect. And then last but not least, go out of your way to do kind gestures for each other. Court each other again. I hope that this was helpful for you. I would love to hear back and hear from you what this does for your marriage, okay? And if connecting right now feels challenging, this is what I'm here for, okay? Let me know, shoot me a message, and let's figure it out together, all right? I hope you have an incredible day, and I will catch you back here next week. Bye. If you like this podcast, then you'll want to join my private Facebook community, Marriage and Motherhood. The fights and the disconnect you're currently experiencing doesn't have to be how things go for the rest of your life. If you're ready to give your marriage a makeover, come join the Marriage and Motherhood community to learn how to create a healthy, happy, and connected marriage that you actually enjoy and your kids can look up to. Thank you so much for listening to the Marriage and Motherhood podcast. I hope that this episode helped you deepen your relationship with your husband and, more importantly, with yourself. I hope to see you inside the Marriage and Motherhood community, and I look forward to supporting you in there. Otherwise, see you back here next week. Bye.